Hi, thank you for calling the Tilton. This is Liz. Hey, Bessie. Hey, girl, I was hoping you'd call me today. I want a story time so bad. Oh, good, because this is a wild one. Ready? So ready. All right, well, you know how we tell people to feel at home here? And you know how some people take that a little too far? Oh, this is already off to a great start. Well, we provide robes in the room for guests to wear when they're in the room or maybe at most to go pop out and get a bucket of ice in. Yeah. Well, this morning, a husband and wife decided that they wanted to come down and eat breakfast in our dining area in said robes, which, by the way, are very sheer and also very short. Oh no, how full was the breakfast area? Oh, so full, with plenty of children running around too. Of course. Of course, I'm the one who spots them, so I go up to them and I ask them very kindly if they wouldn't mind going back to their room and changing into real clothes, or maybe even, I don't know, ordering room service if they want to stay in those robes so badly. And they got all mad at me because they were like, well, we eat in our robes at home all the time. But this is a public place. Seriously, I finally went and got the manager and they were arguing with her until she just straight up told them that she could see everything. And then they finally got the hint, were all embarrassed and went running back upstairs. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, you know what? Your story just reminded me of something that happened to one of our housekeepers the other night. Uh-oh, housekeeping already puts up with so much. What now? Prepare yourself, because I wish that I could tell you that this guest didn't know what he was doing, like yours. Oh no. Yesterday, housekeeping gets a call from one of the rooms, and there's this guy asking for extra towels and washcloths to be sent to the room. And in the background, she could hear a lot of other male voices. I think I could guess what happens next. Yeah, she's already got a sneaking suspicion about what's happening, but she goes ahead and grabs a stack of towels and a stack of washcloths, carries it up to the room, knocks on the door, and when the door opens, it's a guy fully in his birthday suit, just standing there. Ew, seriously, what the No, and all of his friends who were at least clothed were in the back, obviously trying not to laugh at this prank, because it's so funny to prank service workers just trying to do their job. So fun, but here's what I love about this housekeeper and what she did. She looked him in his eyes, then looked down at him, grabbed a washcloth and said, I think this is all you'll need. She is a queen for that. Yes! Snaps, girl. He turned beet red and all of his little buddies started laughing at him. Great on that housekeeper for how she handled that. I am amazed. But she did still get management involved, right? Because that's not okay that happened. Oh yeah, management was immediately told and went and talked to those guys. And something tells me that they will not be stepping foot near this hotel ever again. Good. Hi, thank you for calling the Tilton. This is Liz. How may I help you? Girl. Guess who had to just call the police? Oh, well, me, actually. Wait, what? No way. Yeah? Okay, why? Okay, well, let me set the stage for you. We have a man come and check in with us a couple days ago, and right off the bat, he's rude, he's demanding, he's saying that we don't know how to do our jobs, that he knows so much better than us. Oh, ew. You know the type, but remember that last part. He was so confident that he knew how to do our jobs and that he knew how hotels worked. Oh yeah, a lot of people think that. So checkout day comes, he finally leaves, bon voyage, and then a few hours later, he calls us and he starts yelling at us. Really, about what? He says he left his electric toothbrush in the room and that we should have immediately called him and notified him about it. What? Housekeeping hadn't even gotten to his room yet. Not to mention that hotels don't really call about that kind of stuff anyway. I mean, it's a toothbrush. Oh, it gets better. He left something behind, but it wasn't an electric toothbrush. What was it? This man left a pew-pew behind the toilet in the bathroom. He left what? Fully loaded too, isn't that lovely? So we called him back and let him know that we called the police to come and retrieve the abandoned women that he'd left in the room. Oh, and I bet he didn't like that. Of course not. He started cussing me out, saying that I had no right and yada, yada, yada. And finally, I just told him to have the day he deserved and hung up on him. Dang, okay, but like have the day you deserve? I love that. I'm stealing that. Anyway, why'd you call the Popo today? Oh, well, actually, we had this very sweet couple come and check into the hotel. Okay. And after one night, they came down to the front desk and tell us how much they love our mattress and they love our pillows, that they're the most comfortable they've ever slept on. All right, okay, sounding good. I looked up our supplier's information and gave it to them so that way they could buy the pillows and mattresses for their own house. Okay, I'm confused. Well, cut to a few hours later, and a guest comes in the lobby and informs us that they saw someone on the 4th floor trying to push a mattress out through their room window. Yep, and our windows don't open very wide, so it was taking them a while to get it out, but it still took our third-party security company longer to get to them. So they did actually manage to push the mattress out the window, and it landed straight into our parking lot. I'm dying over here, girl. What? So I got to charge their card for damaging our mattress, and I also got to call the police and press, charges against, them. My gosh, girl, working in hotels is crazy. Girl, don't I know it? Hi, thanks for calling the Marriott. How can I help you? Nah, it finally happened. Liz, oh my gosh, it's been forever since our last gossip sesh. What's up? We finally blacklisted the most annoying guest on the planet. What did he do? What hasn't he done? Whenever he calls to make a reservation, he just barks the date he wants, the price he wants, and the room he wants, and expects you just to recognize his number and his voice. And even if the room isn't available, he expects you just to move mountains to make it available for him. That's just... Oh, and then every time he comes to check in, it's a huge problem with this guy because when we ask to see his ID, he makes a big fuss saying, well, you should know who I am by now. And even though I tell him, yes, we know who you are, it's part of our hotel policy to check your ID, he still fights us on it. Oh, and then he also always parks in our check-in carport, and I have told him a dozen times that he is not supposed to park there and that we have parking elsewhere. And this most recent time, he looked me in the face and said, well, there's nowhere else to park. You guys literally have a 5-story parking garage. Correct. And then he told me I should get my butt into his truck and show him where to go park and flipped when I said, absolutely not. Ugh, you wanted you to get in his truck with him? What a creep. I know, but instead of towing him, management just caved and moved his truck for him. I seriously can't believe your management puts up with this guy. Well, today it was finally the last straw. He came to check in and it was the usual argument over his ID. Management came over and just said it was fine for him not to show it, which, But then he still left his car parked under the carport. I let it slide for about an hour and then I called his room and told him he needed to move it. And once again, it was the usual argument and he finally did come down, but not to move his car. No. To go for a swim. And management still didn't tow him? No, I mean, I asked permission to call the tow company, but management still said no. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, but here's where it starts going down. He finishes swimming, goes straight back to his room, and then calls and tries to make a room service order. It's currently 8:50. Restaurant closes at 9. Last call was at 8:30, all right? He is well past the time that he could put in a room service order. But obviously, instead of just accepting this, he starts screaming. Of course. I hang up on him after about 5 minutes, and then he comes down to the lobby, screams at us some more, and then runs out to his car and speeds out of our parking lot. But the best part, he ran right over one of the curbs that surrounds one of our trees and right over a sharp rock, puncturing his tire. What? No way. Yup, and I saw it all right through the lobby window. His tire went completely flat. That's great. That's just what he deserves. For sure. But get this. He, of course, turns right around, storms back in the lobby, and blames us, saying that we had intentionally vandalized his car. And that's when management finally had enough, right? No way. Management pulled right up next to him, changed out his tire with a spare, and comped him a night. That is just absolute bullshit. But he kept demanding more compensation, said it was going to cost $600 to replace the tire, and that they should comp him 4 more nights, and yada, yada, yada. And that is finally when management said enough is enough. About time! Of course, he only got angrier when he was told that he wasn't getting any more compensation, and in fact, wasn't going to be welcome back to our hotel ever again, and it escalated to the point where the police had to be called and he tried to physically fight them. He tried to fight the police? Yup, so the police detained him, drove him away, and I hope I never have to lay eyes on him ever again. Man, I just wish your management had grown a backbone sooner and avoided this whole mess. Oh, you and me both, girl. You know, our management just DNR'd a lady the other day. Like, it took a while, but didn't go nearly as far as your guy. Really? What happened? First of all, every time this lady came to check into our hotel, her story kept changing. She was either in the process of buying, bought, was married to the owner, or owned the hotel herself. Oh gosh, one of those. Yeah, but for a while it was fine. Like, what she was saying was complete nonsense, but she wasn't acting acting weird or asking for anything crazy, so we let it slide. But then, she started showing up every single week, even when she didn't have a reservation, and would tell anyone who would listen that she was buying the hotel, already owned it, married into the owner's family, whatever, and it was just getting too weird. She really changed the story that much? Oh yeah, sometimes even in the same conversation, but management noticed her, stepped up, and finally just asked her to leave. Just like that. Oh, my management could never. Yeah, I know, right? But what's crazy is she actually showed up again just the other day. I guess she didn't realize that being asked to leave meant she wasn't exactly welcome back, so she made a reservation. Oh gosh, what'd you do? Denied her service. I told her she wasn't welcome back to the hotel, that she was actually on our DNR list, and she literally called the police. Well, let me guess, because you can't deny service to the buyer slash owner slash wife of whoever, am I right? Yeah, the cops showed up, management confirmed she was just some rando, and the cops told her to please just move along and stop bothering our hotel. Jeez, and that happened a couple days ago? Yup. Dang, it's a good week to DNR people, huh? Yeah, for real.